I'm Jerry from Jerry's Landscape. We do irrigation, tree removal, landscaping. We pretty much do it all. You know, I can landscape the heck out of a property. That's never really been a problem for me. It's gotta go. I've had a tough time with accounting, with my bookkeeping, but then I came up with this amazing system that has really been a game changer for me. This side of the dash here, this is all the invoices. This side of the dash is gonna be expenses. Then I've got any miscellaneous receipts or anything like that that goes in the back seat. Then of course anything tax related, you know, I don't even know what half that stuff is, but anything from ERS, that's gonna go right here on the passenger side floorboard. I've even got a place for customer complaints. right out here. I'm kidding. Actually, it's not really the best to even open the windows at all. Blow everything around. Is it a perfect system? No. I can't use the defrost in my truck, which sucks. You know, having passengers, that doesn't always work out so well. But it's a small price to pay. We're meticulous. Every transaction matters, period. Okay, I mean, the system, that's what I love about it. It's virtually foolproof. Well,
one. And all right, James, here we are recording a podcast, and this specific business podcast is going to be about how to save money. You see, when you run a business, you have offense and defense. Okay, so offense is like marketing, branding, sales, your vision. Most entrepreneurs love to talk about entrepreneurship, sales, your vision, marketing, branding, logos. Woo! Very few people want to talk about accounting and legal. Now, most entrepreneurs I talk to, if I talk to 10 entrepreneurs, 9 are going to want to talk about branding, marketing, sales, their vision. Woohoo! To quote Ric Flair, woo! But to most entrepreneurs, 1 out of 10 don't want to talk about accounting or legal. So there's offense and defense. Offense is marketing, branding, marketing. It's branding. It's advertising. It's your vision. That's what offense is in business. And defense again is legal and defense and tracking. Why don't most entrepreneurs, do you think? Why I'm not putting you up as an expert. I'm just asking you as a member of the team, why do you think most people don't want to listen to a podcast about accounting and legal? And why do most people want to listen to a podcast about how to start your business and how to grow the business and how to get funding for the business and your vision? Well, why is that, do you think?
I think it's because it's more fun to talk about money and making money than it is to talk about legal or accounting.
Okay, well, on today's show, we're going to talk about the legal side of your business, the accounting side of your business, and we're going to really focus in on the numbers. So without any further ado, here's today's edition of the Thrive Time Show, brought to you by the part of your brain that most people reject. It's the part of the mind that needs to know the numbers. Again, I love marketing, love vision, love sales, but we got to make sure we're making money. It's not how much money you make, it's how much money you keep. Without any further ado, here we go.
Get ready to enter the Thrive Time Show.
It's a Thrive Time Show on the radio. Yes, it is. Oh, yeah. It's all about you. 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 Yeah. So we bring the boom.
Thrive Nation, welcome back to the conversation. It is the Thrive Time Show on your radio. We're joined here today with Marshall Morris, the business coach and the co-author of the Amazon bestseller Start Here, and Mr. Eric Chupp, business coach, and Dr. Robert Zoellner, the CEO of the Thrive Time Show, and the entrepreneur extraordinaire, the entrepreneur trapped inside an optometrist's body. And we're talking about 14 super moves for enhancing the efficiency of your life and business. Now, this next move, Marshall, I know you're passionate about. It is the concept of automating your savings. Why do all the listeners out there need to automate their savings?
You got to automate your savings because You got to pay yourself first. It's
Come
this
on.
concept of paying yourself first. You're going through the craziness of running a business, okay? You're taking the risk. You're managing employees. You're hiring. You're firing people. And at the end of the day, you need to be putting money away so that at the end of it all, you have saved enough money to retire on.
Now, Martin Luther King Jr., the famous civil rights activist and leader, a lot of people don't realize this, but there was a lot of think about this. There was a lot of people for a long, long time who thought that there was a lot of injustice going on with legal segregation. But Martin Luther King Jr. was one of the few strategic people out there willing to take the time to plan out a very, very detailed plan for getting in front of the media. Dr. Z, I'm not sure if the listeners are aware of this, but if you watch the movie Selma, Z, have you seen the movie Selma?
No, I missed that.
You would like this movie.
Yeah.
This is the thing that Martin Luther King Jr. did. He made a list. He did the research was done to figure out which police chiefs were racist. Like, what are the towns and the communities where the most racist activities are occurring? What are those places? And he thought to himself, you know what we're going to do? We're going to protest in one of those areas, but I want my own phone to be tapped, and I don't want them to think my phone is tapped. I want to use some reverse psychology. Then he said, anybody who wants to be a volunteer, this is where it gets a little deep, a little heavy. He says, we're going to tie your hands behind your back, and then we're going to beat you, physically assault you as you're training for the protests. So therefore, when you get in front of a camera and we're being shot with fire hoses because the media might edit together a certain side of the story, if we do it in these strategic towns, it's just far south that they're going to have some racism there. And if we do it in front of the right specific places, if we demonstrate in front of the right specific police departments in the right specific towns where white supremacists are known to be, and we have the right trained people, the right trained protesters who won't freak out, and if we tip off the media, then the media will be there to capture the atrocities that we live. Because, see, there was lynchings going on, and people in the North didn't know what was happening. And so he took the time to organize this movement. And he wrote down, he says, rarely do we find men who willingly engage in hard, solid thinking. There's almost a universal quest for easy answers and half-baked solutions. Nothing pains some people more than having to think. So, Marshall, whether it's your finances, whether it's something deep like ending segregation, no matter what it is, usually the right answer requires some deep thinking. Talk to me about why you have to think deeply about your personal finances and make that one-time decision to automate your savings.
Well, here's the thing. I know a lot of business owners that are trying to do this deep, hard, solid thinking in the middle of the workday, and it is never going to get done. You have to actually block off time to be able to do this away from everybody else. And so this morning, I did a ton of critical thinking. It was like at 3:30 in the morning.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it was awesome. I woke up earlier. Okay, I woke up at 2:30 instead of 3.
Are you expanding the periodic table?
Yeah, I was expanding, adding to Californium. And so
I told her who's got 2 thumbs and saved hundreds.
Whoa,
nice.
whoa,
Nice.
whoa. 2 thumbs. Wow.
2 thumbs. And so you got to do all of your meta time. You got to do all of your hard thinking during meta time. And once you're doing that, you're going to actually come up with more solutions to those more complex issues.
I want to get Z's take on this and Chup's take on this because, Z, you're known for writing very successful ads. One of your advertisements right now runs on this station, and it's an interview with you and your daughter. And you guys are talking about, I believe, a March special you have going?
Yes.
And you've been doing this for a long time. You've been doing, how long have you been doing?
25 years.
25, for 25 years you've been doing radio ads?
Yes.
So I'm sure now it's easier for you to write scripts than it used to be.
Yes.
But don't you have to have a little quiet time and a piece of paper to sit down and write an intelligent script if you've never written an advertisement script before?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You've got, yes. You have to have, or some inspiration. And, for me, I can do them so quickly now. I have...
You have a formula now.
I have a formula, and it just works, and so it's kind of a tried and true.
But you used to listen to other advertisements with a curious ear, and you
Correct.
still do.
Yes, oh yes.
But you're thinking, why is that ad effective, and why is that ad absolutely terrible and completely not effective, and why is that probably damaging the brand of the company for even airing that commercial? I mean, you've thought about it before.
Yes, I have, and a lot of times I'll find myself someplace buying something, and I'll say to myself, why am I doing this? Why am I doing it here? Why am I doing it now? Why did that ad move me the way that it moved me? And so I was real kind of critical and curious about that. And so those are some of the little things that you think about. I didn't have a degree in marketing, but I enjoyed marketing. I enjoyed the concepts of marketing, and I enjoyed the idea that you can go into someone's car or house via the radio.
Yes.
And you can convince them to come and give you some of their hard-earned money to get the product or service that you're doing. It's a fascinating kind of thing, isn't it?
Chup, you had something that you were going to add onto this phantasmagoria. What were you going to say there, my friend?
I just want to say we keep talking about schedule this, schedule that, hit it with a wiffle ball bat, whatever.
Oof.
But the point to all of this is one thing that I see, we're talking about how Marshall's talking about how if you don't have this meta time, then you're not going to do this during the chaotic burning fires of the middle of the day. And so in order to put things on a schedule, you actually have to have a schedule.
Come on now.
So you have to sit down, maybe the step one, maybe action step one during your first meta time session, if you're not currently doing this, is to sit down, block out time, physically block it out, pull up your Google Calendar, get it up on the screen, print it off, whatever you need to do. But
are you advocating that I would actually have to physically do something as a result of learning
intentionally,
something?
Proactively, and block out that time for whatever you need, because otherwise it's too hard to grow and run a business to try and strategically think during the middle of the day.
If you are listening today and you feel like you are just absolutely stuck and you're saying to yourself, I'm overwhelmed. I'm now listening to this and I'm realizing I'm not scheduling a time to do anything intentionally. Well, the worst thing you can do is beat yourself up and then do nothing. So
Right.
I want to tell you this. Our goal is to make sure all of our listeners feel whole. They never leave the show feeling full of holes. We want to make sure that we're coaching you up and not ever patronizing and talking down to you. So I'd encourage you to go to thrivetimeshow.com and book your tickets for our next in-person Thrive Time Show 2-day event and interactive workshop. See, people laugh, they learn. We've heard good things. People love them.
L and L. Those are the two things we're going for. It's you don't know what you don't know.
Ooh.
Right?
So if you are, kind of skeptical about, committing 2 days of your time to attend a workshop, I would encourage you to type in Thrive Time Show reviews into Google. And you can find, as of the time of this particular recording, we have over 600 video testimonials.
Come on.
600. 600 real humans. That's a lot. And see, the hologram technology, it turned out to be too difficult, too tough for us to do it all via hologram and make them say things or to pay actors. These are real conference attendees. Check them out today by going to thrivetimeshow.com. Stay tuned.
Want to attend the legendary Thrive Time Show Business Workshop for free? Subscribe on iTunes, leave an objective review, and send us confirmation at info@thrivetimeshow.com to claim your tickets. Want to live in a van down by the river? Come by and see us at our Riverwalk offices, and we'll be able to make your dreams come true.
Hello, Thrive Nation. Welcome back to the Thrive Time Show on your radio and podcast download. And today we're talking about the 14 super moves that you can use to enhance the efficiency of your life and business. We have 3 more moves that we're teaching today, and I want to make sure that you have a piece of paper, a pen, something to jot this down with, because there are 3 areas of your business life that will totally get screwed up if you don't take the time today or in the past or in the future, in the near future, to schedule them. So, Marshall, let's get into this first one here. You've got to schedule a monthly reoccurring meeting to meet with your accountant. Now, some guy like Dr. Z, you have full-time people now that help you do your accounting. Because you get to a certain point where it makes more sense to bring it in-house.
Right. But still we do monthly P&Ls.
So, but you want to look at the numbers on a monthly basis to make sure things aren't drifting. Now, Jim Rohn, the New York Times best-selling author and legendary speaker and trainer, he said that discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. And I would just say this before I tee it up to Marshall. If you don't like discipline, you will be disciplined by an outside force. So if you don't like to follow the speed limit, you don't discipline yourself to do that, then the outside force, the law enforcement, will discipline you. If you don't want to follow the rules of the office, then an outside force, a manager, will get on to you. If you don't want to take care of your customers and hit your deadlines, an outside force, the customer, will get on to you. So ultimately, people who don't like to be disciplined, they get disciplined the most, and they get dealt with probably the most severely. But Marshall, what would you say to anybody out there listening who says, I haven't met with my accountant in like years?
Well, this is what I see is a lot of times when a business owner hasn't met with their accountant, it's because they don't like their accountant. They're like, this is
Me
like
no
pulling
likey.
it's like pulling teeth meeting with your accountant, because the accountant's never bringing good news, because most of the news is always reactive, okay, the entire time. And so when you are meeting with your accountant, step number one is find an accountant that you like. And so one of the sponsors of the Thrive Time show,
Marshall, I want to be your accountant. I like you.
is Paul Hood over at Hood and Associates.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
And he's one of the only accountants that we've worked with that is proactive in his accounting methods.
I would say this, of all the accountants we've ever referred people to, or all the accountants I've ever used, I've really only had 3 or 4 that are just not difficult to work with. See, there's a certain tonality that certain professionals have where they talk. I've seen doctors do it. I've seen attorneys do it, where it's a patronizing tone where they almost make the entrepreneurs feel like they're mildly retarded as a result of not being able to keep up with their acronyms and jargon. Have you seen this?
Well, most of us are mildly retarded, so.
See, have you seen this?
No,
though?
yes, of course, yes.
Yeah, they just fill the conversation with jargon, and the person doesn't know what they're saying.
And they talk. It's talking above somebody, because you don't maybe all know all the lingo for you're not. You didn't get in you're not a CPA, So it can be, and I don't know why that profession attracts a certain make and model, but it does.
And there's some good ones out there, but it's rare.
Oh, it's rare. So that's why you interview. And you
check
go
out
in,
hoodcpas.com.
and you go in, you just hey, shop it around. Just because the guy's been your accountant for a while doesn't mean you can't change.
We have a lot of people that want to advertise on this show, and if you want to advertise on this show, I'll just tell you the process here. First off, you send a text message to 918-851-6920. So you have to kind of apply to be an advertiser.
Okay.
So you send us a text message to 918-851-6920. Step 2, we actually have to try out the service. See, we're going to refer an accountant who's a knucklehead. We're not going to do that. We're going to refer a knucklehead service. So we're actually going to try out the service ourselves. And then if we like the service, we'd be happy to talk to you about it. Our whole goal with our advertisers is we want to make sure that you're bringing in more money. See, it's a crazy idea. We want our advertisers to bring in more money than they're paying to be on the show.
That just makes sense.
I mean, you advertise, and last time I checked, the radio stations aren't a big nonprofit that you're just donating to out of the goodness of your heart, right? I mean, because it works.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Marshall, the final 2 areas. You got to schedule a weekly meeting with all ongoing key relationships, like with your attorney. So Wes Carter's here, Tulsa's #1 attorney, in my humble opinion. Tulsa's #1 attorney, Wes Carter, in my humble opinion, with Winners and King. Wes, why do you have to, if you're a business owner, have an ongoing relationship with an attorney such as yourself or somebody else? Why do you want to not just reach out to an attorney when you're in a legal bind?
Well, there's a few reasons. I think one of the most important reasons is planning ahead saves you a lot of headaches and money in the long run.
Can you repeat that, please?
So planning ahead saves you a lot of money and headaches in the long run. So getting with whether it's a CPA or an attorney and planning, how do we avoid this problem? Or here's what I'm doing. Do you see any landmines I may be stepping on? In the long run, saves you all that drama, lawsuits, litigation.
I will just tell you this, and think about this. I want you to just, Thrive Nation, listen to this for a second. Think about this. Get out the piece of paper. Who do you need to meet with once a month to keep your business up in orbit? See, it takes so much rocket fuel to get your business into profitability.
Yes.
To get the plates spinning, to get up there into orbit.
I love that image of the rocket because it's just firing off, just.
And then, Houston, we have a problem. We do not have any legal documents filed for the last 2 years. Our LLC is expired. Houston, we haven't filed our taxes for what appears to be 48 years. Could you send an accountant up here?
I mean, see, you don't want to wait till it gets that bad, right?
You don't. Some people do, and it's not good. It's because if you don't, if you fail to plan, you're planning kind of for failure,
Now, here is the final thing you got to schedule. And Z, I want you to talk about this, and I want to get Marshall to talk about this. This is big. It seems stupid, it seems obvious, but it's big. Dr. Robert Zoellner and Associates, when you go into your 2 offices where you see thousands and thousands of patients a year, you guys have glasses that you sell. You see, I went in, I bought these glasses right here from you. I've got these pairs. I actually purchased 2 of them.
They look good. They look good on you.
I appreciate that. I could purchase 2 of them. And I went in there, and they didn't say, "Oh, I'm sorry, we're all out." And I said, "What do you mean? Are you all out of what?" And they go, "Just everything."
Everything.
But yet, a true story. I happened to be up in Minnesota for a speaking event in Rochester, Minnesota. I'm from Minnesota, Rochester, home of the Mayo Clinic. I'm up there in Rochester, Minnesota. And I broke a pair of glasses. True story. And I went to the local optometrist there and I said, hey, Mr. Optometrist, I want to get another pair similar to this. And they go, oh, we're out. And I said, well, what about this kind? They said, oh, we're out. I said, well, what about this? Oh, we're out. And I realized they're out of business probably. So I had to go to another optometrist. So just making sure you stay on top of your office supplies. I think that's a huge
thing. I was in a restaurant last week and I was looking at the menu and I was like, oh, this salad looks really good. I'd like the seared tuna salad. She looked at me and goes, we don't have any tuna.
I worked at Applebee's one time. My boss, I remember him, he pulled me aside, Ian, and he goes, this happened often actually. He goes, guys, I forgot to get the inventory done, and so we're out of steaks tonight. Now I know the special we're doing is the steak, whatever. I'll give you guys, I'll give you guys a bonus though if you can steer people to chicken or shrimp. People were like, well, what would you like to get today, sir? And they're going, I'd like steak.
Yeah.
And you go, I'll tell you this, I'm willing to offer you 100% refund. I'm so confident. Our chicken is it's moist, it's succulent. If you haven't tried our shrimp, it is incredible. And people are thinking, man, you're pretty passionate about chicken. That chicken, I'm telling you, it's a game changer. I went back there and talked to my chef at Applebee's. We now have a chef, not just a guy who doesn't speak our language back there working.
Clay, you did so good on the chicken. We're out of it now, so just shrimp.
No, but that's how it was, though. I remember that manager. He used to always say, hey, you know those fries? We're out of that particular fry. You know, so if you can pitch people. And I got pretty good at selling by learning how to steer and pitch
by what he inventoried or didn't have.
But we have one of our listeners out there, great listeners. And these guys, it's called Onyx Professional Print Supply. Onyx Professional Print Supply. It's ONYX. Why? Because you got to stay on top of your office supplies. See, ONYX. Why? Because you got to stay on top of your office supplies. Their phone number, if you get it, just go to onyximaging.com. Onyximaging.com today. ONYXimaging.com. And these guys will sit down with you, and they're going to make sure that they audit all your print supplies. And see, crazy deal, they're going to deliver.
That's so frustrating when you look up and your printer's out of ink and you're like,
paper's out of paper.
Who didn't get the paper or the stuff?
Out of pens, out of paper. Marshall, how can it just shut down a business when they run out of paper, pens? You see it with the clients we've coached. I mean, it can just shut down a business.
Yeah, people will either not print anything at all, or they'll spend their entire day not fulfilling their product or service, but rather driving around to all the different places that they have to go get stuff at.
Which causes depression, which causes your employees to then go on Netflix and to rent the movie Fargo. Which causes them to watch movies about putting people in wood chippers, which then causes people to start speaking with a northern accent.
Yeah, don't do that.
This could lead to a spiraling.
Ice fishing? Could this lead to ice fishing?
Pretty soon all your friends are named Bjorn,
Sven,
Leaf. You don't want that kind of contamination to spread. So if you're listening right now and you want your office to not spiral into a complete
coma,
what you got to do is go to onyximaging.com. Now, see, we like to end the show with a boom, but before we do, if all the listeners go to thrivetimeshow.com, they can find the podcasts,
boom,
the in-person workshops,
boom,
the one-on-one business coaching,
boom.
We've got thousands of videos up there for your viewing pleasure. Learn entrepreneurship from mentors and not mistakes, all at thrivetimeshow.com. And as always, 3, 2, 1, boom.
Get ready to enter the Thrive Time Show. 3, 2, 1, boom.
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back to the Thrive Time Show on your podcast download. And this next podcast, I think for a lot of people, this particular subject is one that a lot of people struggle with. And so I come at you today with a desire to coach you up and not talk down to you. So I try to come in there and approach this subject lightly and be nice, but I also want to let you know that if you don't change as a result of this, then this was a waste of time, okay? So Small Business Finance 101. You've got to look at your numbers. And if you don't look at your numbers, it won't help. Refusing to look at your numbers on a weekly basis won't help. So Dave Ramsey, the financial guru, the New York Times bestselling author, he says a budget is telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. Now, CNN is saying that the majority of Americans are wondering where their money went because according to the stress test, the test that the Federal Reserve did on the average American person out there, they found the average American cannot afford a $500 emergency. 63% of the American population
Sad, isn't it, really?
doesn't have $500 saved. So Forbes says 8 out of 10 small businesses fail. So the business world is no better. So here are the steps to being successful with your accounting. I'm going to give you the steps. There's just 6 steps. I'm going to walk you through them, and I want to get Wes Carter's take on this. I want to get Dr. Z, the optometrist's take on this. Wes Carter's a top attorney. He works with a lot of our clients. If you're listening to this podcast and you need an attorney, he can help you out. Ryan Wimpy is a business owner. So here, Dr. Z owns multiple companies. Ryan owns a successful company, Tip Top Canine, and Wes is a top-level attorney. So step 1, Z. You got to list out all of your expenses for the past 3 months. If you haven't done this ever, you got to just list them all out.
Yeah.
Type them all into a spreadsheet. Don't overthink it. All your expenses for the past 3 months. That's okay. That seems easy.
It seems fair.
Step 2, you must list out all your income for the past 3 months. Oh man, this is easy.
Easy.
This is easy.
I've got
Now
records
those
of this.
little steps I gave you are probably 10 hours of someone's time right there. Okay, because that's a lot of time entering it all in, gathering it all up. A lot of people say, well, it's in QuickBooks. Well, if you don't enter it into QuickBooks, garbage in, garbage out. So you got to make sure your numbers are updated. And I've yet to work with a client whose numbers were updated when we first started working with them. Now, step 3, you got to know your profit per customer. The profit per
what?
The profit. And again, I've never worked with a customer at the point where we began helping them that they knew that, because it's hard to figure out how much of it is my fixed costs, how much of it is my variable costs.
Well, they all spend different things, and these are averages.
And so then you got to know your break-even point, and that's again takes a long time. How many deals do I need to break even? And so and then step 5, we're almost done here. Step 5, you got to set up an automatic, and you got to save an automatic amount of money. You have to save an automated amount of a percentage of your gross income. Again, you got to save an automatic amount, an automatic percentage. Now, see, when you decide to save, let's say 3% of your gross income, and it just comes out, why does automating your savings work?
Well, because it takes if you don't have it to spend it, you don't think about it. And so automated means you take it out of there before you get your little hot little hands on it. And a lot of people, how do you say this without being mean? Don't have self-control. And so if they get it, they're going to spend it.
And that a lot of people would include me. So like for me, I mean, so what I do is I don't want to think about it. So I just set up boundaries, and I set up a budget, and there's a set amount of money that goes into a set account. I don't think about it. And that's how that works. Now, step 6 is you got to create a routine for looking over your accounting aggressively every week. Now, when you get big enough, Z, you hire people like controllers and accountants and bookkeepers who now work for you, and they look at the numbers every week.
Well, exactly, and that's the steps in that direction. And so, when you start off, you don't go, well, I guess I got to go get a CPA firm to, you can get QuickBooks, you can start doing it on your own, but then as you grow, then you want to add things to it. And the other thing too is, Clay, is knowing what you're good at and knowing what you're not. For me, I needed some accounting help early on. I did need marketing help, but I needed accounting help. And so I had an accountant early on that I made a deal with. It was actually a patient of mine. And for a small fee per month, because I was a small business,
right,
he did it for me. And then as I grew, his fee grew. And then after 20 years, he finally retired. I mean, he was my guy for 20 years.
But what you want to do, if you don't have that guy yet, is you need to set up a specific set time and a set place and a set workstation, and make sure you have all the things you need in place. If you need highlighters or computers or whatever you need, pens, notepads, you want to have it all ready so you can sit down every week and knock out your accounting.
Sure.
So I'm going to get into the brass tacks of executing this with Ryan. So Ryan, you and your wife, Rachel, in your business, who looks at the numbers more? Is it your wife or is it you?
We both do quite a bit.
Okay.
Probably her more.
And do you have like a home workstation? Do you like to work at the office? Or where do you like to typically get down on it as it relates to accounting?
The kitchen bar.
The kitchen bar?
Yep.
That's your spot?
Yep, that's the spot.
And how long does it take you? Does it take you hours or minutes? Or how long does it take you to do? I think a lot of people look at Tip Top Canine now and they see the success you're having. Many people are reaching out to you guys to get a Tip Top Canine location, but they might go, man, this guy's a wizard. It probably takes him. How long does it take you?
Wizard.
We run numbers on Thursdays and Mondays just to make sure we're looking at everything. So we're keeping tabs on everything. 15 minutes.
Okay, but now it's up in orbit. It's running, so you just have to keep it there.
Right, we just keep it there.
But see, if somebody's accounting is all screwed up, I mean, it might take them and I'm just saying this from the averages I've worked with. I asked Marshall Morris, one of our business coaches. I asked all of our business coaches this morning. I've asked the team, and it seems as though the average client, it's going to take them over a dozen hours to get their numbers straight if they've never done this. I mean, it's like cleaning out the garage, Z. I mean, this could be a big task.
It could be a big task, but it's something you have to tackle, you have to do. And so hopefully you set it up correctly up front. Hopefully you're tackling this up front, but if not, then you've got to bite the bullet and get her done.
Now, Wes, as an attorney, how often do you see a situation where one somebody says, I don't like the way taxes work, so I decided to kind of form a little trust over here, a little LLC over here. I'm kind of based in the Caymans, if you know what I mean, Wes, and I wanted to see if you could help me, kind of what I would call expatriate my funding. I mean, do you ever get some squirrels that reach out to you to try to get some creative advice on not paying taxes?
Yeah, we're going to put it offshore, and it's totally legal because my buddy did it, and he hasn't gone to jail yet.
He lives in Latvia. My other buddy lives in Costa Rica.
That is a place.
It is.
And being the cynic I am, let me point out, too, that if you're not staying on top of your finances, you're not going to have any idea if your partners are stealing from you or your employees are embezzling from you. So people could be robbing you blind. You wouldn't even know it.
So, again, if you feel like you're stuck with your accounting, I encourage you to reach out to your business coach, but not looking at the principle I want to hammer home. You not looking at your numbers does not help it go away.
I've tried that, to bury my head in the sand. Part of
dump more sand on me. Dump it.
And I said to myself, it'll all be okay because tomorrow's a brand new day, and tonight I'll have a good night's rest, and it's all going to be fine, and daffodils and cotton candy, and it's all going to be okay. But you know what? Ignoring it does not make the problem go away. Oof. And you have to be aggressive, and you have to just tackle it, and you have to be heads on, and you just have to say, you know what? I'm going to get her done, and it's going to be what it's going to be. And get it lined up and get it correct. And the more you put it off, the uglier it gets.
Ooh. Well, Thrive Nation, I always want to end this show with a boom. But again, just a quick reminder, if you're absolutely in a bad spot with your accounting, don't refuse to look at it. You got to be proactive, have somebody that helps you. Hood CPAs is a great sponsor of the show. If they're not a good fit, find somebody to help you and at least reach out to your coach. Tell them you need some help, and they're going to help you go through the steps needed. We even have workspace. We have workspace. We've had people fly in from other cities and fly to Tulsa to take advantage of our workspace. This has actually happened numerous times, and someone will take dozens of hours and just get financially in a good spot.
Yeah,
sometimes just knowing helps.
I know. And you know what? Well, I'm going to tell you this. This is a quote I heard from Lou Holtz, a famous football coach. And he says, when you find yourself in a hole, step one is stop digging.
And if you're slinging mud, you just keep getting the hole deeper. You just keep slinging.
So stop digging. Yeah. Understand that you're in a hole, and you know what? We're here to help you get out of it.
Ooh. Well, Thrive Nation, 3, 2, 1, boom.
And now, broadcasting from the center of the universe and the Thrive15.com world headquarters, it's the Thrive Time Show.
Thrive Nation, welcome back to the conversation. For many of you who have heard about the Thrive Time Show, you found us on iTunes or you found us on Stitcher, or maybe a friend referred you to us for the first time. Welcome to the broadcast. What we do on the Thrive Time Show is we provide you with business school without the BS. And I'm excited because I'm going to let Marshall Morris lead the way on today's topic. We have Marshall Morris. He's he's the co-author of the best-selling Amazon bestseller called Start Here. Again, it's the Amazon bestseller called Start Here, which you can get today for free. You can download it today by simply going to thrivetimeshow.com, and you can download the book there. But Marshall, before we get going, tell us why it is important that we determine our weekly break-even and goal achievement numbers and not maybe a yearly goal.
I believe that business is a lot like sport. Business is a lot like war. And between sport and war, you got to keep score. And so if you're not keeping score, then how do you know whether or not you're winning or losing, whether you're profitable or losing money? You got to have some type of identifier for where you're at in the business.
So Stephen Covey would say, though, to you, he would say, Begin with the end in mind. Stephen Covey, this is the best-selling author of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He says, begin with the end in mind. You're saying keep score. How do those two relate? How do you keep score while beginning with the end in mind? How does that relate to the business owners?
Well, if you are actually keeping score in your business, you got to identify what is that end goal? How many points do you need to score? How many sales do you need to do? How many widgets do you need to sell? How many services do you need to book in order to get to your goal? So your break-even point is the point in your business where you are bringing in just enough money so that you're not earning a profit. Okay, you're not at the end of the month, you're not bringing home any money, but at the same time, you've broken even. You're making enough money to cover all of your hard costs. You're covering all of your expenses. So you're not making money, you're not losing money. So number one, you've got to know how many deals you need to book in order to break even. The second number that you need to know is, based on your goals, your F6 goals, how much money do you need to make in order to achieve your goals?
When you say F6 goals, Chup, can you break down what the F6 goals are? I think we have some listeners who are tuning in for the first time or maybe need a little refresher on what. Because Dr. Zoellner and I fundamentally believe that your life isn't just finances, but your life can be broken up into these 6 F's. There is a secret F, which maybe on a future show we'll go over. But
more podcast
Chup,
edition.
walk us through the 6 F's.
So we've got your faith. F1 is faith. The next, family, friendships, fitness, finances, and then the 6th one that Dr. Z, he kind of sprinkled into Clay's life, made him partake in that a little bit, is fun.
So you want to make goals for yourself today,
right?
For the following 6 areas. Make goals for your faith, make goals for your family, finances, fitness, friendship, and fun. Now, after you do that, now you kind of have a goal here. You know, okay, this is what I have to hit per week to achieve my goals to fund the life I want to live. Now, Jack Welch, the CEO of GE, who grew the company by 4,000% during his tenure, he says, you've got to eat while you dream, Marshall. He says, you've got to deliver on short-range commitments, Marshall. He's saying Marshall a lot. While you develop a long-range strategy and vision and implement it. The success of doing both, walking and chewing gum, if you will, getting it done in the short range and delivering a long-range plan and executing on that. So, Marshall, action item number 1, we need to write down on a whiteboard in our office the total number of deals we need to break even. Why do we have to do that? Why? How does that keep us focused on the short term while we also focus on the long-term goals?
Well, there's 2 parts about this action item that are important. Number 1 is you need to know on a weekly basis how many deals that you need in order to break even. That's the first part. You need to know what that number is. It has to be a very specific number. The second thing is you got to put it on a whiteboard. It has to be visual. You have to be reminded of it. Everybody in your office needs to be reminded of it on a weekly basis, because until you hit that goal, until you hit that number, you're going to lose money.
I don't want to write it down because I feel like every time I write down my goals on a whiteboard, they don't happen, and the office is like humiliated, and Chop, it's depressing. You know, you just put it on the board, you're like, oh, I didn't do it again. You know, it's like, no, I don't set goals, you know.
I like Marshall's metaphor for the scoreboard. Now, one thing that is super important when you have a scoreboard is that you actually have to look at it. So that would be my answer to you, mister, over there.
You know, the only difference between a metaphor and a petaphor is that the one tastes better. Ooh. That's just deep thoughts right there. Wow. All right, so the next action item is you got to write down on your daily to-do list that you carry around the number of deals you need per week to break even.
Carry that to-do list around.
You got to have a whiteboard, but you got to have a to-do list. And Marshall, why do you have to have it on a to-do list you carry around and not just on the whiteboard?
Because your to-do list is going to go with you everywhere that you go. And if you don't have a to-do list, create a to-do list. You need a to-do list and carrying it around, because this is going to be the constant reminder. You're going to see the action items, and the action items, if you execute upon those daily, then you will ultimately get to your goals.
Bro, I want to use like Slack or some like time management app, bro, because there's so many awesome apps out there, bro. It's like, I don't want to have like a list, man. I don't want to be confined to like paper.
Well, you know, you got to do that because all of the most successful people in the world create a to-do list.
Bruh, but like, I don't really care about successful people. I care about like Ty Lopez.
Then this is probably not a good radio show for you.
Nice. Okay, so the next move is you want to write down on a whiteboard in your office the number of deals per week you need to achieve your goals. That should be the big kahuna.
The big
why,
kahuna.
Why are you doing all of this? Why are you embarking on the crazy journey of owning your own business? Why
To kick some butt, man. To dominate. To win.
And so you got to be motivated by something. What are those big goals in your life that you were working towards?
Can we have a campfire talk real quick? Just the three of us and the video guy real quick.
Kumbaya.
Yes, let's do it.
Is it not fun to see more and more people attending the in-person workshops?
Yeah, it's really cool.
Is it not fun? Is it not pretty exciting, Marshall, to know that we don't have to go to Nebraska anymore?
Oh, it's South Dakota.
Is it not fun to not go to San Diego? Is it not? I mean, for me, I was so tired of traveling all the time. It's fun to see people from all over the world attending our workshops.
Yeah.
And you know why that has come to fruition? Of course you do, because we're part of the triumvirate, because we talk about it all the time, because it's constantly a reminder. We talk about it all the meetings. We're constantly growing the podcast. We're growing. The goal is to mentor how many people, Marshall?
Millions.
Not to mentor minions.
Oh, ooh.
I want to make sure we get this, because I've thought about this a lot. The other day we had to let somebody go, and they said, I thought your goal was to mentor millions. And I said, my goal is to mentor millions, but not to mentor minions. And he says, excuse me? I said, you won't do your to-do list. You don't show up on time for client meetings.
Strike two.
You don't have the tenacity needed to get anything done.
Swing and a miss.
Our goal is not to mentor people we have to babysit. But there's real business owners out there like Delricht.
I got a super win.
Oh, come on.
So Delrick, this week, it's awesome. They've been hitting their financial goals. They told me on, it would have been Wednesday of this week, they said for the or Wednesday of last week, they said, for the first time, we are completely independent of our business.
Yes.
Completely, 100%.
Soak that in.
100% independent of our business. We have all of the time freedom to go with our financial freedom, and now we can reinvest. Thank you so much. And that is like an awesome personal win for me, and I am so excited for them. Big shout out to them because they've been working towards this for years. Not months, but years.
I'm just going to ride that emotional high as we go into the break. When we come back, more about breaking even and goal achievement. Stay tuned.
To claim your tickets to the Thrive Time Show 2-day interactive business workshop for free, all you have to do is to subscribe to the Thrive Time Show on iTunes, leave an objective review, and send us confirmation at info@thrivetimeshow.com. To claim your star in the National Star Registry, we can't help you.
All right, welcome back to the Thrive Time Show on your radio. If you want to claim your star in the National Registry, have you heard that commercial? Claim your star in the National Registry. It's a great way to say I love you. Have you heard that commercial?
No.
Are we talking about like
star
like in space?
Yeah, apparently you can go up there and you can claim a star.
yes.
This is
in
the
the
first
National
time hearing of
Registry.
it.
Really?
I've heard of this. I thought you meant like a Hollywood star.
No. No, you can claim your star and give it as a gift. And I don't know. If you gave that to me, I'd be pissed.
I would be like, I donated money to the Human Fund.
Get out of here.
What is the Human Fund?
Okay. It's a fund for humans as opposed to a fund for extraterrestrials. Okay.
Stars.
So we're talking about determining your weekly break-even and goal achievement numbers, all right? So here are the action items you have to do if you want to become successful. You have to know your numbers. You got to know your numbers. If you're going to pump it up, you've got to know your numbers. You got to get the numbers. You got to know. You got to pump them up. You have to make them huge chop.
Lift the numbers.
You got to write them down on the whiteboard. Okay, no, but seriously, you got to write them down on a whiteboard in your office. Step one, write it down on a whiteboard in your office. The number of deals you need per week to break even. There's nothing funny here. 2, write down on your daily to-do list that you carry around the number of deals you need per week to break even. On the whiteboard and the clipboard, write down how many deals you need per week to break even.
Anything with a board.
Then on the whiteboard and the clipboard, you want to write down the number of deals you need to achieve your financial goals. Your financial goals. Do I always have to be the adult here?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you have to write down the number of goals, the number of deals you need to achieve your financial goals on both the clipboard and the whiteboard. If you don't obsess about it, it's not going to happen. Now, here's the part that no one wants to do. You've got to create a list of all the expenses related to delivering your product or service. This is called the cost of goods. Chup, can you list out just a couple or a few of the cost of goods that we put here on today's show notes?
So yeah, you've got your cost of all the materials that go into building out your product, right? You've got the cost of labor, cost of driving if you're delivering, if it's a service or you're delivering your product. You've got insurance, credit card fees, taxes, all that kind of stuff. You've got to list all that stuff out. You have to literally take the time and list all of this stuff out, or it's kind of pointless if you don't have accurate numbers.
It's super important that you do it for the past 90 days. It's so important.
You have to do that.
If you don't do it, what's going to happen is you're going to have a rosy perspective of what your expenses are. And I can't tell you how many times I've sat down with a business owner, Chup, where they have thought their costs were a certain thing, and the costs are a lot more. I mean, dramatically more. They're not factoring in credit card fees.
Yeah.
They're not factoring in insurances. They're not factoring in lawsuits.
It's extremely rare that someone would be factoring in the correct costs if they haven't actually done what we're telling them to do right now. You're not going to stumble your way into this. You actually have to sit down, think about it, use your brain power, and list out these expenses.
Now the next thing you want to do is you want to create a list of all the fixed expenses for the past 90 days. Okay? That would be like your printing costs, your leasing costs, your electrical bills, your water bills, your phone bills, internet bills, insurance bills. There's a lot of things that are ongoing expenses that if you're not careful about, you're just not going to factor those in. Marshall, you've sat down I just think of one example. You sat down with a chiropractor and you worked for, I want to say, dude, seriously, probably 8 hours, 9 hours helping those folks a few years ago?
Closer to 12.
12 hours.
Yeah.
And you're working through all the expenses. And were they shocked? I mean, were you shocked? Were they shocked? Who was shocked when you finally entered in all the expenses?
I was shocked. And you can't prepare for that if you've never looked at the numbers in that great of detail before, because you end up finding all of these different things that the card is being charged for that you didn't know about. But you don't find those unless you go line item by line item and look exactly what is coming out from the bank. And then you get asked the question, who put that on the card?
Yeah.
Why is that on the card? I didn't approve that. Who's charging that? And without fail, every time I've done this with a client, you will typically find at least 10 line items on there where you're like, oh no, this is what is sinking our ship. We can't be doing that anymore.
I want to encourage all of the listeners to take the time to create a list of all of the expenses related to delivering your products or services for the past 90 days. Create a list of all of the fixed expenses for the past 90 days. It is so important that you do this. And then once you've done this, you need to work with your coach to create a pro forma. Now, a pro forma is nothing but, again, it's a projection of future financial performance based upon known variables. And so you're going to know the profit per customer as a result of making this. You're going to know the number of deals you need to make per week to break even. You're going to know the number of deals per week you need to achieve your goals. But if you don't do this, you're never going to know, and it's going to cause you dis-ease, Marshall. You're going to get frustrated.
And I want to make this visual because we talk about fixed expenses, hard expenses. I want to make this visual and give an example here. So every single month, you have your fixed expenses.
Every month?
Every month, which is a bucket, okay? It is your bucket. And so every single job that you do, you have a cup or a glass, okay? And you have to understand what it means to break even.
Hey, real quick, you've been very heavy on the container analogies.
I know,
buckets,
container analogies.
Glasses, drawers.
So your break-even point is how many times do I need to fill up my glass of profit, okay? My glass is my profit. How many times do I need to take that and dump it into the bucket in order to get that water level to come to the top of the bucket? How big is that? If you have a bigger bucket, you're going to need to fill up that bucket many times with that glass. And so once you get into the habit of understanding that your profit per customers goes towards your monthly fixed cost every single month, you will become successful. You will understand your numbers. You will know what it means to break even on your business.
So the other reason to build off of that this is super important is not only are you going to know your numbers, so you're going to be able to get your finances squared away, but this is also the first steps to scaling your business. You can use these numbers to then create key performance indicators to hold your team members accountable to that actually grow your business. And you can't do that if you don't know these numbers. There's no place to start.
I want to bring the room down a little bit.
Okay.
Can I do that?
Okay.
Please.
Okay. I know that our listeners are very diligent people.
Yes.
That are willing to delay gratification.
Super diligent.
And to block out the time needed to get things done.
Very consistent, very proactive.
I know that our business coaching clients we've had throughout the years, all of them execute their action items
extraordinarily well.
But for the people out there who are listening who know somebody who doesn't find the time to get action items.
A friend of a friend.
These are people we have not met personally, but the kind of things we've heard, a friend of a friend.
Yeah.
Chip, what are the things you've heard friends of our clients have struggled with as it relates to finding the time to make the pro forma?
What I see a lot is that people decide, hey, I'm going to try to tackle this during the middle of the workday. I'm going to wait until I'm dealing with an employee issue. I'm going to wait until I'm dealing with a customer issue or some piece of technology that's broken and try to go over these numbers, and it will not happen.
Marshall, can you grab my phone off of the computer there behind you? I'm going to have Marshall grab my phone. He'll those of you who are watching on thrivetimeshow.com, we have the video version of all the shows up there so you can check them out. But I'm going to pull it up here. I'm going to wave it at the camera so you guys can see. Let's see. Is it not turning on here? Okay, let's see. This could be kind of a
well, here's the first here's the first principle. Your phone is off.
Yeah.
It's just like it's not on.
From Friday to Sunday, my phone's always off.
Because you're not focusing on the phone while you're doing a radio show. You're not focusing on these other items.
Powering up
and
now.
it's finally powering up.
So what I want to share with listeners here. This is big because this is hopefully worth the listen today. I'm going to pull up my alarm here, and my alarm I set right here is at 2:52 is when I got up today. 2:52. And you know why I got up at 2:52? Because there's a little Bible verse I wanted to share with you from Proverbs 13:12. It says, "Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a longing fulfilled is a tree of life." My phone, I have no control of my phone. I never use a phone. It turns on all of a sudden, bam.
Bong, boom.
But this is what, again, it says, "Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a longing fulfilled is a tree of life." Proverbs 13:12. If you read Proverbs, or you read any business book at all, you're going to discover that it takes time to be successful. You've got to say no to things to become successful. And to get your numbers correct, I mean this, your coach will help you, but I believe it's going to require about 20 hours of work. Maybe, I don't know, maybe guys, have you ever seen one less than that? Maybe 10 hours? So
it's going to take some time.
And when you sit down and look at the numbers, that's going to get you to where you want to go, but it's going to be tough. It's going to take time. So you've got to block out time to do it. You also got to block out time to go to thrivetimeshow.com, where we have 4 ways to help you. We have the in-person workshops, the one-on-one business coaching, the video archive of thousands of videos, and this podcast. My name is Clay Clark. I'm here to coach you up and to help you get to where you want to go financially, but you got to take the action. Go to thrivetimeshow.com today. Without any further ado, 3, 2, 1, boom.
2 men, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses, 8 kids, 1 business coach radio show. It's the Thrive Time Business Coach Radio Show. Get ready to enter the Thrive Time Show.
That's it. Arms away.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here.
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back to another exciting edition of the Thrive Time Show on both your radio and podcast download. I am the former United States Small Business Administration Entrepreneur of the Year for the great state of Oklahoma. I have 5 incredible kids. I took algebra 3 times and my ACT 3 times. I did not graduate from college because the head of Oral Roberts University did not find the parody rap song that I put together to be as funny as I did. Thus, I was asked to leave the school before I wanted to leave, but I am glad that I exited. And years later, I was asked to come back and to help them lead their alumni marketing department. And the great irony of life, So my career path doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Paul Hood's does make a lot of sense. He is a CPA. Paul, can you explain to the listeners a little bit about your educational background?
You said it makes a lot of sense. Did you do that on purpose?
Dollars and cents.
Freudian
Coin.
slip. Wow.
Clever guy.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I graduated. I actually graduated from Bartlesville High School back in '85. Prestigious. Yeah, I had the whole 4.0.
You did?
Yeah.
Really?
Went to, thought I could play football and I got a little scholarship to play football at Northeastern State over in Tahlequah.
Cool.
Yeah. And then decided I was tired of getting beat up and transferred to Oklahoma State and graduated from Oklahoma State in 1989. 3.9. Couldn't get that 4.0, but all that really doesn't matter. It's the first time I've said my GPA, and until you get out, get that first job.
I'm bringing this up because a lot of people are saying I cannot become financially successful because I did not graduate with a degree with a 3.9 from a school. So I want to make sure we're getting this rightly divided as we're breaking down the 5 words of wisdom. We're teaching today how to become an automatic millionaire, okay? How to become an automatic millionaire. We're teaching that today, but I want to make sure you get this. I did not graduate with a degree. I took my ACT 3 times. I took algebra 3 times. Paul does have a degree. He's done very well academically, but he's also done well in the world of business, okay? So it's not mutually exclusive that you have to be great academically to become successful. So what we're going to do is we're going to break down 5 notable quotables from David Bach. And you might be saying, who's David Bach? It's David B-A-C-H.
He wrote music, right? Is he a music guy?
No, he actually is a 9-time New York Times best-selling author of a book called The Automatic Millionaire.
That guy.
Smart Women Finish Rich. He's been featured on Oprah and the Today Show and pretty much every show out there. He's a very, very successful person. So, Chup, I'm going to have you read this first notable quotable from Mr. David Bach.
Financial education needs to become a part of our national curriculum and scoring systems so that it's not just the rich kids that learn about money, it's all of us.
Amen.
Jason, you manage 3 of the Elephant in the Room men's grooming lounges. You are the super manager. I want to get your take on this. When you were going to high school or college, did they teach a whole lot of practical financial planning classes?
So in high school, my senior year, I took a math and finance class.
Got it.
And I thought that would be a really good way to learn how to manage a checkbook, basic accounting.
Practical stuff.
The first thing we did the first day was our teacher set us up on a free Yahoo stock account so we could learn how to track stocks. And then the very next day for the entire semester, we watched the same Dave Ramsey video.
Boom.
Over and over.
Are you being serious?
Yeah.
Clay,
where did you go to high school?
Edison.
Okay, back to you, Paul.
Clay, what we live in the greatest country on the planet, and it's based on free enterprise. And we do not, our education system, and I'm not slamming it, it's great, whatever.
I'm slamming it.
Yeah, you can slam it.
I'll slam it, you can't slam it.
But we teach people how to be a good technician, how to be a good accountant, how to be a good plumber, how to be good, whatever, DJ. We don't teach people the principles of creating wealth, to live and below your means, to leverage time, leverage people, how to scale. Those kind of things we don't teach, and that's what we teach at Hood CPAs.
I have a huge pile on this real quick because I want someone to get this.
Bring it.
The reason why your college or high school professor cannot teach you financial planning,
preach it,
is because they are not financially planning themselves,
and
they don't know how. They don't know how. And if they were good at financial planning, they would not be at your high school working for $36,000 a year teaching a class on financial planning. And I gotta get this out there.
We'll call you MC Slammer.
Well, this is big though. I mean this. Recently, this is probably 6 months ago, I had one of my high school teachers reach out to me. A great guy. I am 37. I believe he's like 55. He reached out to me and he said, "Hey, I've never started a business before, but I am on the verge of one." This is a guy who taught me my small business and personal finance class. He said, "I've never started a business before, and I wanted to see if you could coach me." I hopped on the phone. I talked to the guy. I walked him through some things. He doesn't need ongoing coaching. He just needed to understand that his particular business idea was terrible.
That happens.
And so I steered him in the right direction. He might actually come out to a workshop, so it'll be kind of fun if we connect again. But he's a very, very good guy. He impacted my life quite a bit in a lot of positive ways. But he personally doesn't know anything about personal finance or about business, but he taught it because in school, you're allowed to teach courses that you're not qualified to teach because someone has to teach it.
That's right.
And if they ran around saying, hey, does anybody here actually have a lot of money saved? They would not probably. They'd probably hear something like this. And so they need someone to teach the class, Chup. They have to have somebody teach the class. So there's got to be someone teaching, but it doesn't mean they know what they're talking about.
Or you do what they did when I was in high school, which is, a decade or so before Jason here, which is they just don't teach anything at all. I remember my junior year probably coming home and had a bank account and had some things going. I was working with my parents and asking my mom how to fill out a checkbook, and she's like, they don't teach you this in school? And I was like, no, not even close.
I remember I had as we get it, we're going to get back here into how to become an automatic millionaire, but I'm just setting the background, kind of setting the foundation for what the average person out there can relate to.
Why it's not automatic already, right?
I remember my senior year in Minnesota, if you have enough classes, enough credits, you can go to college early. So you can opt out of high school, still technically be a high school student, but you can spend your entire senior year going to college. And so I enrolled in St. Cloud State University, and I never really went to high school classes anymore. But I had one class I had to go to. I need like one more credit or something. And I got put in this wood shop class. And I am not kidding. The teacher would sit down in a room. It looked like a garage. And he's like, he's from Minnesota. So, all right, everybody, today we're going to be building some things, wood boxes. It's like a box that can shut that's wood. For Clay and other people who I know do not have mechanical skills, just try to get something done.
Don't lose a finger.
Now, I know some of you guys are smoking weed out there. I know a lot of you guys are smoking. I can smell it right now. And I gotta put it out there. I'm not. No, I'm serious. I'm not really gonna call you out. I just anyway. So then he had a water bottle that he would sip on during the day, and we knew it was filled with vodka. And he would.
It's cold up there, Clay.
Water doesn't make your face look like that when you take a sip.
No, I'm serious. And he used to shiver. And he used to sit there and just sip on vodka, and people in the back would just be smoking pot. And this was my high school class.
Don't run his gig. He had a great gig. Hey, Clay, I'm reading a book right now by a guy named Jim Stovall. You know Jim.
Yeah.
And Jim is actually a client of ours, and he is a man. I am so excited to work with him. But he's a book called Millionaire Map.
Millionaire Map. Good book. Yeah.
And one of the things he says in there is you got to check the fruit on the tree. You've got to say, if somebody's wanting to give you financial advice, then you need to say, well, show me your financial picture. If somebody's trying to give you marital advice, well, how long have you been married? Not that you've been married 6 or 7 times. That's not really good marital advice. You qualify.
Each time it gets better. Every time it gets better. This next one is awesome.
I've been bankrupt 7 times. I'm a financial expert. So much practice.
But the principle is you check the fruit on the tree. And it's I have, and I'm not going to name names, but there's technical schools that have people that I know that are teaching entrepreneurship that have never owned a business. I don't understand.
It's unbelievable. So again, notable quotable number 1: financial education needs to become part of our national curriculum and scoring system, so that it's not just the rich kids that learn about money. It's all of us. I agree. However, Mr. David Bach, you and I know it's not going to happen because the educational system is not going to change because of the bureaucracy. But notable quotable number 2, David Bach writes, if you're in a hole, stop digging. If you're in a hole, stop digging. Paul, how do you see people financially in the hole? Like what kind of scenarios do you see very commonly when you sit down with the average customer for the first time before you've been able to help them correct where they're at, where they're going financially?
Well, yeah, you tell them throw down the shovel. I mean, gosh, you're going a direction in life, and that direction is based on the decisions you make, whether that's in your marriage, if that's with your body, if that's with your financial picture. And so you're either going the wrong way or the right way. Very few people are just standing still, and so you've got to decide. You've got to paint a picture of where you're at today, and figure out which way are you digging down or are you climbing up? And if you're digging down, we tell them these are the directions, the things that you're doing that are affecting you negatively.
If you find yourself in a hole out there, Paul, and you're making tons of payments on different things, is it smart to try and consolidate all that debt down as much as possible, or what would you suggest?
Yeah, it depends. What we typically will do, because we do see this. I have clients come in and they've got a lot of equity in their house, but then they've got all this consumer debt. The key is, and this is going to sound really, really weird, I tell people don't do anything yet. because we've got to change the habits that you've created that have put you in this position. So don't go out and borrow a bunch of money on your house to pay off your credit card debt and then just keep living the life you're living, because
build that debt back up
5
again.
years later it's going to. So we've got to change your thought process before you do anything. And so a lot of times that consumer debt is actually an inhibitor to get further in the hole, to dig deeper. And so just stop. Let's change the habits. Let's figure out why you're in this position, and then we can correct it.
Okay,
Good question, though.
I have 3 action steps I want to give to all the listeners, and I'll have Paul kind of unpack these, okay? Action item number 1, and I've done this with many of my business coaching clients.
All of them, right?
Yes. The ones who will allow me.
Okay, there you go.
I would say 80% will not allow me to do this.
It's true.
But the ones who allow me, I do this. Yes, it's true. I create a spreadsheet with them of all of their income on one column and all of their expenses on another column. And most people are using some kind of software program, QuickBooks or something, and they haven't done this ever. So this is an action item. I want everyone out there to do this today. Make a list of all your income. I'm not kidding. Everybody needs to do this. Make a list of all your income on one column, all of your expenses on another. Most people have never done this.
Right.
And when we do this, I would say it takes the average person 4 to 5 hours to get all their income into one column of a spreadsheet. Because a lot of them say, well, it's in QuickBooks. I've got it on QuickBooks. So that's great. But let's go through the spreadsheet here. And when they finally look at all their credit cards, all the ways they spend money, all their checking accounts, when you make a list of all your income on one side and all your expenses on another, that is powerful, because you will see that you are spending more money than you're bringing in.
Right. You'll see it. And if it's just in the software, that's what I tell my clients. I call it quick brokes, because you think everything is in there, but it's not. You actually have to reconcile that stuff and put it out on the spreadsheet, like Clay is saying.
You know, Clay, it's not really funny, but it's kind of like when you're watching a comedian and you're just waiting for the punchline. 99% of the time when we go through this process with clients, I'm just kind of waiting. I'm kind of waiting until the reaction is, oh my gosh, I didn't know we were spending that much money. And so you just kind of wait for it. It's not funny, but it's the realization that I didn't know we were spending that kind of money on this or on that. And the even more comical side or exciting thing is when we have a couple that comes in. You know how your face gets red? We were talking about your teacher drinking that water. It gets kind of flush. So when we just even mention this process, a lot of times one or the other's face,
or both,
really gets flush. And sometimes we never see these people again. When we talk about, we're actually going to look
hard
and see
choices, right?
Where your money's going. But if you want to be successful, you got to change something, and you've got to. The first step, though, is realizing where you're at today, where your money's going, Clay.
Listen, step 1, everybody out there, I want you to do this. Create a spreadsheet today of all your income versus expenses. If you have a Gmail account, you can use Google Sheets. It's free. If you don't, get out a piece of paper. With my DJ company, I remember doing this. I put all my income on one side. And I thought, okay, I got $250, a month coming in from shows, because I had like one show a month. Okay. And I've got about $400 a week coming in from Applebee's. I've got about $300 a week coming in from Target. I've got about $400 a week coming in from DirecTV. I add it all up. And I'm going, okay, some of my income I'm tracking monthly, some of it's weekly. I got to put it all into just a monthly. So add it up, and I start looking, okay, I got this. I'm making $7,000 a month between Applebee's, Target, and DirecTV over here. Great. Now my expenses over here, I've got a Yellow Page ad, which is about $2,500 a month. I've got a mini storage facility that was like $300 a month. It was over at 96th and Riverside, like $250 a month. I've got a phone bill. I had a phone bill set up. It's like $40 a month. I've got a website I hosted through EasyTel, which is $45 a month. I had a bridal show that I was in. I had an ongoing ad in the Tulsa World. You add it all up and you go, okay, I am barely able to make it here. Now, this next step is you got to make some painful cuts. Now, when I built the DJ company, I can tell you I didn't have any big overhead. But this exercise, as I continued to grow, I all of a sudden began to take on some expenses that I didn't need to have. And so I added this up one time, Chip. I'm looking at my numbers, and I realized I've got a guy on my team I'm paying about $4,000 a month to on my expenses side. And he doesn't bring in any revenue, nor does he contribute intellectually. He doesn't do anything to help. So you have to make painful cuts.
Right.
So again, step 1, create the spreadsheet of income versus expenses. But step 2, you've got to make some painful cuts.
Exactly.
If you're not making at least one painful cut, I know you're not following this system. Paul, I want to get your take on this. Painful cuts.
Painful
Talk
cuts.
Talk to us about some of the painful cuts that your clients have had to make in order to correct their financial course.
Yeah, Clay, we teach our clients at Hood CPAs that short-term gain means long-term pain, but short-term pain means long-term gain. So if you sacrifice a little today, you'll have a lot in the future. You just don't understand. And so some of the cuts are, okay, maybe we limit how much you spend at Starbucks.
Come on.
Yeah, maybe you you change your DirecTV bill. Instead of paying $200 a month, you're paying $20 a month because you got less programming and stuff you don't even use.
This guy hates everybody, Chuck. This guy's negative guy.
You just don't want anybody to have fun.
No,
That's
I
what
want
it
them to have fun, more fun in the future. A little less fun today, more fun in the future. Because if you spend, it's kind of like the old adage, if don't eat your seed corn. You can't just consume everything that you produce today. You got to put some back, and so you have to replant that seed corn. And so it's not. And the reality is you'll be happier in life. You'll know where you're going. You'll see. You'll be positive. It's kind of like, Clay, again, back to getting in shape. If you hate getting on that scale when you're not doing the right things, but when you're doing the right things, you can't wait till it's time to weigh in. You can't wait to see your progress.
It's a good tie-in, right? Like it's like cutting sweets and stuff out of your diet if you want to get in shape. It doesn't matter how much you work out if you only eat candy.
That's
you got to cut that stuff out.
The candy corn is unbelievable.
It's called corn.
Corn.
It's kind of a vegetable.
It's not my seed corn.
You can put as much of that in the ground and nothing's going to grow.
Let me tell you this: I haven't had candy corn in probably 5 or 6 years at all. And but when I see candy corn, I remember just thinking, I don't even like this stuff. I ate like a whole bag,
handfuls at a time. You ever mix it with peanuts? It tastes like a payday. It's delicious.
Hey, they
really?
got,
yes.
Is that a life hack?
It's so good.
Well, that deserves some cowbell.
They have a secret way of getting that candy corn in you now. I think Reese's or somebody, you can buy the Reese's and it's got candy corn in it.
Those jerks.
Yeah, it's secret. It's a conspiracy. Yeah.
They teamed up?
Yeah. Somebody, I don't know if it's Reese's, but I saw a candy bar the other day that had
That's
candy
not fair.
corn in it.
This is like an Illuminati thing.
That's not
Reese's
fair.
teaming up with the candy corn. Okay.
We put meth in it now too, so you could just.
The third action item is decide not to be paper rich and cash poor. Decide not to be paper rich and cash poor. Let me give you an example of what I mean. This just in. Years ago when I was doing real estate, there's a company called Fears & Clark, and my partner Fears was the broker, the real estate guru. My job was to just do the marketing. And I'll never forget, we would meet with guys who had huge mansions, very nice houses in Midtown at 111th and Sheridan or Memorial, huge houses. And one guy was a surgeon, very skilled surgeon. And apparently he had a stroke, and so he could no longer be a surgeon. And it happened like in his late 40s, and it was like just unexpected, boom. Now he's got a house that's almost entirely paid off, but he doesn't have access to income.
Right.
So he's got a $2 million house-ish paid off, almost entirely paid off, but he doesn't have any income. And he goes to the bank to try to get an equity line, and the bank will not let you do a home equity line, generally speaking, if you don't have any income. And so he had a house that's worth $2 million, but he can't afford the taxes on it. He can't afford the air conditioning. He can't afford so we went to his house, and it's like overgrown now. There's a lot of grass growing. Maintenance has been deferred, obviously, for years. It's starting to get bad. And I saw this situation over and over with people who own big commercial buildings, a big commercial building, but they can't afford to fix the air conditioning unit.
Right.
Paul, how do people become on paper rich but cash poor?
Well, Clay, we talk to clients about what phase in life they're in. And when you're early age or before retirement, you're in the accumulation phase. And after retirement, it's the distribution phase. And real estate is a great asset for accumulating wealth, but it's not a good asset for creating distributions. And so what they do is whether it's out of pride or whatever, you can get assets and you think they're assets, but really an asset is, and I won't pronounce, you give me a hard time about pronouncing her name. I'm going to have Sharon Leckler. It's always a question when I say her name. She talks about an asset is one that creates income. An asset is not your home. And so a lot of people think that. And I'm not a big proponent. Fine, have a big, nice home. Don't pay it off because that's not producing anything for you. You take those assets, that money that could be in that home, and put it into other real estate or other investments actually going to create an income stream for you so that accumulation process is you're accumulating equity in an asset that's going to produce income for you instead of accumulating equity in an asset that is not going to produce income for you.
Chup, I think there's somebody out there who's going, wow, there's a lot I need to implement here.
Yeah.
But let's keep moving on to the next notable quotable. Notable quotable number 3.
Before you can really start setting financial goals, you need to determine where you stand financially.
Paul, where are most people at financially when you first meet them?
Flat broke. I don't care how much money they bring. I know it's a gut punch. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. But it's the truth. I don't care if you make. We talked about several times about the income side of it. What's important is what's going out. I've had people sitting in my office that make $30,000 a year. I've had people sit in my office that make $1 million a year that are flat broke. They're spending more than what they're bringing in, and so it's again back to exercise weight. You got to step on the scale to see where you're at today to be able to set a goal for how we're going to get to where you want to go. So you have to paint that picture. We have to see where you're at today, and it's nothing to be embarrassed about because that's the norm. Unfortunately, that's the norm for you to come in and sit into my office at Hood CPAs, for us to go through your numbers and know you're not saving, you're not being diligent. And that's okay. That's where we come in.
By default, Chup, I think it's easier to spend than it is to save.
It is, and you won't know unless you do what Clay said a minute ago, that action item number 1. Create that spreadsheet of income versus expenses, and what's stopping you from doing it is that you haven't scheduled it yet.
That's right.
If you put it on your calendar and you make it a priority, you will do it, and you will realize that you need to make some changes.
Now, this next notable quotable, Chup, coming in hot from Mr. David Bach, the 9 times New York Times bestselling author of The Automatic Millionaire and Smart Women Finish Rich, etc. He says what?
The great truth about money is that in order to keep it and grow it, you have to fight for it.
So, Jason, you're a young guy. You work with Elephant in the Room. You manage the 3 stores. You're the super manager there. Can you talk about why you have to fight or at least work hard to make sure that the daily checklists are being implemented? And in a store like that, with as much volume as we do and as many daily customers, why do you have to just fight to get those checklists done? And why don't they just happen by default?
Well, because you can't ever approach anything passively. Like you have the idea, like the passive millionaire, somebody who thinks that they're going to just get money by doing, what's the guy's name? Ty
Lopez. Oh, ClickFunnels.
Right. Yeah. So
Holy cow.
What I found with management is you can't be a passive manager. Like we have checklists up within line of sight everywhere. And you would assume, hey, it's there, somebody's going to do it. But if you don't follow up on it, you're going to find that you got to check the checklist in 2 hours into the day when box A, B, and C should have already been checked. Everything should be spotless. It's not done.
What are some of the things at the Elephant in the Room that every hour have to be done? I mean, there's hot towels and things like that. What are things that have to be done every day, ongoing, that would drift and that would not be done at the Elephant in the Room men's grooming lounge if you were not on it?
Laundry, just to make sure we have towels ready to go. The hot towels, dry towels, sanitizing the bathroom and the shampoo room, just daily cleanliness, restocking the fridge so guys get free cold beverages when they come in. Like the
to me, hiring is like there's like the daily what you're talking about there. I 100% agree. And then there's hiring. Like every day, do we not have somebody shadowing about every 1 or 2 days? Somebody interviewing every 1 or 2 days?
Oh, for sure. Just keep them coming in.
And why?
So we always have a plan.
And why would people occasionally leave? What kind of reasons have you heard that are realistic, that are good, non-nefarious reasons why people decide to move on?
You just family reasons or finding a better opportunity.
Moving out of town,
right?
Having a child, career. So we just can never stop interviewing at the Elephant in the Room. Never stop recruiting. We can never stop checking the hot. It's like a garden. Okay, you got to tend to it, or the weeds begin to sprout. And financially, Paul, it's like tending a garden. You can't just do it you can't just meet with a financial planner one time and then be good. You have to meet on a monthly basis to make sure you're pulling the weeds. Paul, what are the kinds of weeds that can sprout up in somebody's financial garden if they don't tend to it on a monthly basis?
Well, Clay, anything in life you have to actually be very diligent, and it is a struggle. It's a struggle looking at Facebook and seeing, the neighbor just got a new car. It's a struggle seeing on TV the ads for the brand new TV and these, 60-inch,
cool, man.
8D, 8K, whatever they are,
40 billion K.
40, yeah, whatever they are, and so it's real easy because you're doing, especially when you start doing well. You start doing well, and then you got a little money. And Clay, you open up that investment statement or whatever, and you think, I should buy a boat.
Oh,
yeah, or something.
Would be fun.
And so you have to have that fight. And the weeds is staying diligent, realizing that we're going to keep our income, our lifestyle at a certain level so that we can enjoy life in the future.
Chuck, what's the next notable quotable?
He says, change is a funny thing. Although most people say they want to change so they can have a better life with more love, more dreams, and more fun, the fact is that many of us are afraid of change.
That's true. And so if you're out there today and you're saying, I want to make a change, but I don't know the first step, I would encourage you to go to hoodcpas.com. That's hoodcpas.com and schedule your free 1-hour consultation. And when you schedule that 1-hour consultation, Paul Hood and his team will give you a free copy of Warren Buffett's only authorized biography. The book is called Snowball. You get one of the best books out there written about one of the best financial minds in American history, Warren Buffett, and you get 1 hour of time from a financial consultant from Hood CPAs. You get the hour of time, the consultation, you get the free copy of the book. Get it today by going to hoodcpas.com. And as always, we like to end the show with a resounding boom. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, boom. All right, Thrive Nation, I'm going to try to save you some money here over the next 5 minutes or so. I know that most people would probably rather go to the dentist than to talk to an insurance agent about their insurance. Maybe somebody else out there really doesn't like the dentist. Maybe you do want to meet insurance people as opposed to a meeting with the dentist. But the idea is most of us have to have insurance. We don't necessarily want to have insurance. And today's guest is a longtime friend of mine by the name of Adam Stockdahl. His wife used to work in the office as a great graphic designer. He's been a longtime client friend, and he has some good news for you about how you might be able to save some money. Adam Stockdahl, welcome onto the Thrive Time Show. How are you, sir?
Oh, man, doing great, Clay. Happy to be here today.
Hey, so tell us, why do insurance rates go up? And I know that's not because you hate people. Why do the insurance rates go up?
Well, Clay, there's a little something going around that you might have heard of. I don't know, maybe you talked about it. It's called inflation. So the good thing about it is everybody's home value went up 30-40% last year. The bad news is that so did everybody's insurance rates. And these captive agents, these agents that work for like a State Farm or an Allstate, they are getting really hammered because these companies on a large scale are pulling out of some markets. They're pulling back, trying to really get back to making money instead of just paying out claims all the time.
So what happens is somebody wants to go to your website right now, and they want to fill out a form. They want to figure out what they can do to compare rates. What does that website look like? How do people get there?
Yeah, so it's just goosehead.com/Adam.Stockdahl. Really, just forget all that. Just text me, right? Just text me.
So, Adam, if people want to get a hold of you, obviously you're with Goosehead. That's the organization. But to get a hold of you, to get the fastest response possible, my understanding is people can just text the number 817-720-0461. 817-720-0461. I'm going to put it in the show notes. That's 817-720-0461. If somebody does text you, what does the process look like? How long does it take for you to figure out if you can save some people some money?
Realistically, 5 to 10 minutes. Like, this is a really quick process. Our goal is to win fast or lose fast. If you are best where you're at, I'm going to tell you. That's fine, right? And if you're not, I'm going to tell you, and we can do something about it.
Okay, so again, the move is I'm going to go to just text the number 817-720-0461. Now, I've got a few questions about insurance here that a lot of our listeners ask. Car insurance. Car insurance rates are going way up all across the country, coast to coast. Are you competitive on the car rates?
Clay, we write through 39 different companies, and we've got some really good companies that are super competitive on car rates. Really, car rates are where I'm seeing the most improvement. I'm saving people 30-40% very regularly.
Wow. Now, as far as home insurance, you guys provide home insurance and life insurance, or what are all the policies what's the kinds of policies that you guys provide there at Goosehead?
Yeah, so we do home insurance, we do auto insurance. Basically, if it can be insured, we can insure. We can even do corporate, we can do life, small business insurance. We've got it all. I know these small business people, they have a hard time getting insurance. 9 times out of 10, we can help them out.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to goosehead.com if you want to learn about the company. But the best way to get a hold of you and to get that fast quote is texting 817-720-0461. Is there any particular kind of insurance right now that you're thinking that you've seen go up the most this year? Is it auto insurance? Is it home insurance? Is it all of it? Or where are you seeing the biggest?
Definitely people are getting really pinched on the home. You're noticing the home because then your mortgage payment's going up. So your mortgage payment's been one thing for a long time, then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, that went up $100.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something we can help correct. And the personal website is goosehead.com/Adam-Stockdoll.
Got it. And do you, so it's goosehead.com/Adam-Stockdoll. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and I'll put a link to it on today's show notes so people can look that up there. Final question I have for you about insurance here. As a person who's an entrepreneur, you are involved in multiple businesses. When I first met you, you were working in the mortgage industry, and you did very well in that. Now you're involved in multiple different companies. What do you like most about working in the insurance industry?
What I like most about working in the insurance industry, Clay, is that so many people are overpaying for something that they know nothing about, right? So I saw this a lot in the mortgage industry. People are like, oh, I just want this type of loan, right? And it was my job, I was very experienced, it's my job to come in and say, hey, I understand this is what maybe you saw the advertisement for, but maybe it's not the exact right fit for your situation. So people are seeing these catchy little jingles on the commercials, and they're like, oh, that's probably a good company for me. But what they don't know is that when they call those companies, it is their job of those agents to sell that company's insurance, okay? I do not work for any specific insurance company. I write through 39 of them. I have no particular loyalty to any of them. My loyalty is to my customer. So my job is to work for my customer on their behalf to pair them with the company that's right for them.
So you're going to compare 339 different companies. Someone can text you, compare rates, takes about 5 minutes tops, and then max, and then you can let them know, within 15, 30 minutes or so where they're at?
Absolutely. If they know what they're paying right now in their general coverage, it'll take me 5 to 10 minutes tops to run house, auto, whatever. Make sure they're getting the right rate. If you're not sure you're getting a good rate, just check. It doesn't hurt.
Awesome. Adam Stockdoll, I really do appreciate you joining us. And again, folks, if you are looking to save some money on your insurance, I encourage you today, text the number 817-720-0461 to compare those rates.
Wow.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Moore. I'm a pediatric dentist. Through our new digital marketing plan, we have seen a marked increase in the number of new patients that we're seeing every month, year over year. 1 month, for example, we went from 110 new patients the previous year to over 180 new patients in the same month. And overall, our average is running about 40 to 42% increase month over month, year over year. The group of people required to implement our new digital marketing plan is immense, starting with a business coach, videographers, photographers, web designers. Back when I graduated dental school in 1985, nobody advertised. The only marketing that was ethically allowed in everybody's eyes was mouth-to-mouth marketing. By choosing to use the services, you're choosing to use a proven turnkey marketing and coaching system that will grow your practice and get you the results that you're looking for. I went to the University of Oklahoma College of Dentistry, graduated in 1983, and then I did my pediatric dental residency at Baylor College of Dentistry from 1983 to 1985. I established my practice here in Tulsa in 1985.
One of the things that I hear in my world a lot as a business consultant from business owners is they will tell me, Clay, I want you to help me, but my industry is different. And so on today's show, I'm going to introduce you to a wonderful client who's a pediatric dentist. And I also am going to introduce you to a wonderful client who's a real estate agent. And I'm also going to introduce you to a wonderful client who does mortgages, and a wonderful client who's a family doctor, and a wonderful client who trains dogs, and a wonderful client who runs the UPS stores for all of Canada. Then I'll introduce you to a wonderful client who has a massive real estate empire, real estate franchise empire. Then I'm going to introduce you to a wonderful client that sells new homes. Then I'm going to introduce you to a wonderful client who sells insurance, and then a wonderful client who runs a church, and a wonderful client who the wonderful client who sells insurance. I think I mentioned that. A wonderful client that has a research lab. And at the end of the day, you'll discover that if you will follow the proven systems that I will teach you at our in-person workshops or through our one-on-one coaching program, it's like bumper bowling for business. It's like if you're tired of throwing gutter balls and you want to have success, this system will absolutely change your life. It's a step-by-step system. It's a linear workflow. It's going to absolutely change your life. And without any further ado, here is Dr. Morrow sharing about how this system has changed his life and his business's life and the lives of his employees and the growth of his pediatric dentistry. So here we go.
Hello, my name is Charles Colaw with Colaw Fitness. Today I want to tell you a little bit about Clay Clark and how I know Clay Clark. Clay Clark has been my business coach since 2017. He's helped us grow from 2 locations to now 6 locations. We're planning to do 7 locations in 7 years and then franchise. And Clay has done a great job of helping us navigate anything that has to do with like running the business, building the systems, the checklists, the workflows, the audits, how to navigate lease agreements, how to buy property, how to work with brokers and builders. This guy is just amazing. He's this kind of guy has worked in every single industry. He's written books with like Lee Crockrell, head of Disney, with the 40,000 cast members. He's friends with like Mike Lindell. He does Reawaken America tours where he does these tours all across the country where 10,000 or more people show up to some of these tours. On the day-to-day, he does anywhere from about 160 companies. He's at the top. He has a team of business coaches, videographers, and graphic designers and web developers, and they run 160 companies every single week. So think of this guy with a team of business coaches running 160 companies. So in the weekly, he's running 160 companies. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's doing Reawaken America tours. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's also doing business conferences where 200 people show up, and he teaches people a 13-step proven system that he's done and worked with billionaires, helping them grow their companies. So I've seen guys from startups go from startup to being multimillionaires, teaching people how to get time freedom and financial freedom through the system. Critical thinking, document creation, putting it into organizing everything in their head to building into a franchisable, scalable business. Like one of his businesses has like 500 franchises. That's just one of the companies or brands that he works with. So amazing guy, Elon Musk kind of like smart guy. He kind of comes off sometimes as socially awkward, but he's so brilliant and he's taught me so much. When I say that, like Clay is like, he doesn't care what people think when you're talking to him. He cares about where you're going in your life and where he can get you to go. And that's what I like most about him. He's like a good coach. A coach isn't just making you feel good all the time. A coach is actually helping you get to the best you. And Clay has been an amazing business coach. Through the course of that, we became friends. I was really most impressed with him is when I was shadowing him one time. We went into a business deal and listened to it. I got to shadow and listen to it. And when we walked out, I knew that he could make millions on the deal. And they were super excited about working with him. And he told me, he's like, I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to turn it down because he knew it was going to harm the common good of people in the long run. And the guy's integrity just really wowed me. It brought tears to my eyes to see that this guy, his highest desire was to do what's right. And anyways, just an amazing man. So anyways, impacted me a lot. He's helped navigate anytime I've got nervous or worried about how to run the company or, navigating competition and an economy that's like, I remember we got closed down for 3 months. He helped us navigate on how to stay open, how to get back open, how to just survive through all the COVID shutdowns, lockdowns, because our clubs were all closed for 3 months and you have $350,000 of bills you got to pay, and we have no accounts receivable. He helped us navigate that. And of course, we were conservative enough that we could afford to take that on for a period of time. But it was, anyways, great man. I'm very impressed with him. So Clay, thank you for everything you're doing. And I encourage you, if you haven't ever worked with Clay, work with Clay. He's going to help magnify you. And there's nobody I have ever met that has the ability to work as hard as he does. He probably sleeps 4, maybe 6 hours a day, and literally the rest of the time he's working, and he can outwork everybody in the room every single day, and he loves it. So anyways, this is Charles Kola with Kola Fitness. Thank you, Clay. And anybody out there that's wanting to work with Clay, it's a great opportunity to ever work with him. So you guys have a blessed one. This is Charles Kola. We'll see you guys. Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm Aaron Antis with Shaw Homes. I first heard about Clay through a mortgage lender here in town who had told me what a great job he had been doing for them, and I actually noticed he was driving a Lamborghini all of a sudden, so I was willing to listen. In my career, I've sold a little over $800 million in real estate. So honestly, I thought I kind of knew everything about marketing and homes. And then I met Clay, and my perception of what I knew and what I could do definitely changed. After doing $800 million in sales over a 15-year career, I really thought I knew what I was doing. I've been managing a large team of salespeople for the last 10 years here with Shaw Homes. And I mean, we've been a company that's been in business for 35 years. We've become one of the largest builders in the Tulsa area, and that was without Clay. So when I came to know Clay, I really thought, man, there's not much more I need to know, but I'm willing to listen. The interesting thing is our internet leads from our website has actually, in a 4-month period of time, has gone from somewhere around 10 to 15 leads in a month to 180 internet leads in a month. Just from the few things that he's shown us how to implement that I honestly probably never would have come up with on my own. So I got a lot of good things to say about the system that Clay put in place with us, and it's just been an incredible experience. I am very glad that we met and had the opportunity to work with Clay. So the interaction with the team and with Clay on a weekly basis is honestly very enlightening. One of the things that I love about Clay's perspective on things is that he doesn't come from my industry. He's not somebody who's in the home building industry. I've listened to all the experts in my field. Our company has paid for me to go to seminars, international builder shows, all kinds of places where I've had the opportunity to learn from the experts in my industry. But the thing that I've found working with Clay is that he comes from such a broad spectrum of working with so many different types of businesses that he has a perspective that's difficult for me to gain because I get so entrenched in what I do, I'm not paying attention to what other leading industry experts are doing. And Clay really brings that perspective for me. It is very valuable time every week when I get that hour with him. From my perspective, the reason that any business owner who's thinking about hooking up with Thrive needs to definitely consider it is because the results that we've gotten in a very short period of time are honestly monumental. It has really exceeded my wildest expectation of what he might be able to do. I came in skeptical because I'm very pragmatic, and as I've gone through the process over just a few months, I've realized it's probably one of the best moves we've ever made. I think a lot of people probably feel like they don't need a business or marketing consultant because they maybe are a little bit prideful and like to think they know everything. I know that's how I felt coming in. I mean, we're a big company that's definitely one of the largest in town. And so we kind of felt like we knew what we were doing. And I think for a lot of people, they let their ego get in the way of listening to somebody that might have a better or different perspective than theirs. I would just really encourage you, if you're thinking about working with Clay, I mean, the thing is, it's month to month. Go give it a try and see what happens. I think in the 35-year history of Shaw Homes, this is probably the best thing that's happened to us, and I know if you give them a shot, I think you'll feel the same way. I know for me, the thing I would have missed out on if I didn't work with Clay is I would have missed out on literally an 1,800% increase in our internet leads. Going from 10 a month to 180 a month, that would have been a huge financial decision to just decide not to give it a shot. I would absolutely recommend Clay Clark to anybody who's thinking about working with somebody in marketing. I would skip over anybody else you were thinking about, and I would go straight to Clay and his team. I guarantee you're not going to regret it, because we sure haven't.
My name is Danielle Sprick, and I am the founder of D. Sprick Realty Group here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. After being a stay-at-home mom for 12 years and my 3 kids started school and they were in school full-time, I was at a crossroads and trying to decide what do I want to do? My degree and my background is in education, but after being a mom and staying home and all of that, I just didn't have a passion for it like I once did. My husband suggested real estate. He's a home builder, so real estate and home building go hand in hand, and we just rolled with it. I love people, I love working with people, I love the building relationships, but one thing that was really difficult for me was the business side of things. The processes and the advertising and marketing. I knew that I did not have what I needed to make that what it should be. So I reached out to Clay at that time, and he and his team have been extremely instrumental in helping us build our brand, help market our business, our agents, the homes that we represent. Everything that we do is a direct line from Clay and his team and all that they've done for us. We launched our brokerage, our real estate brokerage, 8 months ago. And in that time, we've gone from myself and one other agent to just this week, we signed on our 16th agent. We have been blessed with the fact that we right now have just over 10 million in pending transactions. 3 years ago, I never would have even imagined that I would be in this role that I'm in today, building a business, having 16 agents. But I have to give credit where credit's due. And Clay and his team and the business coaching that they've offered us has been huge. It's been instrumental in what we're doing. Don't ever limit your vision. When you dream big, big things happen.
I started a business because I couldn't work for anyone else. I do things my way. I do what I think is in the best interest of the patient. I don't answer to insurance companies. I don't answer to large corporate organizations. I answer to my patient, and that's it. My thought when I opened my clinic was I can do this all myself. I don't need additional outside help in many ways. I went to medical school. I can figure this out. But it was a very, very steep learning curve. Within the first 6 months of opening my clinic, I had a $63,000 embezzlement. I lost multiple employees. Clay helped us weather the storm of some of the things that are just a lot of people experience, especially in the medical world. He was instrumental in helping with the specific written business plan. He's been instrumental in hiring good quality employees, using the processes that he outlines for getting in good talent, which is extremely difficult. He helped me in securing the business loans. He helped me with web development and search engine optimization. We've been able to really keep a steady stream of clients coming in because they found us on the web. With everything that I encountered, everything that I experienced, I quickly learned it is worth every penny to have someone in your team that can walk you through and even avoid some of the pitfalls that are almost invariable in starting your own business. I'm Dr. Chad Edwards, and I own Revolution Health and Wellness Clinic.
Hey, Clay Clark and my Thrive peeps. It's Steve Currington, as you can tell. Although I'm not wearing my signature green shirt as usual, but I am riding in my signature green Lamborghini. And I just wanted to say how appreciative I am of Thrive and all the guys at Thrive Time and the show and everything that you guys have done. At Total Ending Concepts, we have had tremendous growth and a lot of things changing, especially on the marketing front, and from a coaching perspective, and from a web presence and branding, and our internet leads are up. Everything is hammering on all cylinders, and really we're just trying to figure out how we can leverage the systems and the processes that we're learning at Thrive more in our business. So now we're setting up a lead tracking system that has been long overdue, and we're doing lots of stuff. But I wanted to take a minute and say thank you to Thrive and Clay Clark and Dr. Z and everybody for all the help in helping us grow our business, and hopefully buy more Lamborghinis like this the more we sell. So appreciate it, guys. See ya.
I'm Rachel with Tip Top Canine, and we just want to give a huge thank you to Clay and Vanessa Clark.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan with Tip Top Canine. Just want to say a big thank you to Thrive 15. Thank you to Make Your Life Epic. We love you guys, we appreciate you, and really just appreciate how far you've taken us.
This is our old house, right? This is where we used to live a few years ago. This is our old neighborhood. See? It's nice, right?
So this is my old van and our old school marketing, and this is our old team. And by team, I mean it's me and another guy.
This is our new house with our new neighborhood. This is our new van with our new marketing, and this is our new team. We went from 4 to 14, and I took this beautiful photo. We worked with several different business coaches in the past, and they were all about helping Ryan sell better and just teaching sales, which is awesome, but Ryan is a really great salesman. So we didn't need that. We needed somebody to help us get everything that was in his head out into systems, into manuals and scripts, and actually build a team. So now that we have systems in place, we've gone from 1 to 10 locations in only a year.
In October 2016, we grossed 13 grand for the whole month. Right now it's 2018, the month of October. It's only the 22nd. We've already grossed a little over 50 grand for the whole month, and we still have time to go. We're just thankful for you, thankful for Thrive and your mentorship, and we're really thankful that you guys have helped us to grow a business that we run now instead of the business running us. Just thank you times 1,000.
So we really just want to thank you, Clay, and thank you, Vanessa, for everything you've done, everything you've helped us with. We love you guys.
Bird, they said it couldn't be done. They said you couldn't fill up the BOK Center. They said it wasn't possible. But yet if you look, it appears to be full. Oh, we're making America boom again.
Very full.
Very full. Lots of marketing, courtesy of John Kelly and Devin and Darlin and
this mind.
And this mind and this hat. So there it is, FD Oilers sold out, baby.
My name is Taylor Hall. I'm the general manager of the Tulsa Oilers professional hockey team. You know, our goal every night here at the BOK Center is to try to fill the seats with lots of people and create an exciting environment so when somebody comes to a game, they want to come back. Working with Clay and the staff at Thrive, they've really helped us in many ways. Website and graphic design and video production and a lot of things that go along. And a lot of businesses, including ours, doesn't have a staff for a full-time videographer or graphic designer. But the biggest thing that we noticed was the needle mover. More sales, more attendance, more successes in business. We had a record year last season working with Clay for the first time. Our average attendance is higher than it's ever been. So there was a lot of really cool things that we did, and they worked. That's the nice thing about working with Clay and the team over there. It's just not one person, you get the entire team. If you need video design and editing and production, they've got that. If you need graphic design, if you need some coaching, your salespeople and call scripts, PR, they offer all that. Clay was instrumental in helping guiding us and getting us on the right track so that we could really raise the bar and become ultra successful. So it's been an amazing experience for us.
My name is Nick Smith, and I'm an agency owner with Farmers Insurance. I grew up in a middle-class family all the way up until I was about 13, and then my dad lost his job, and then all of a sudden he was gone, and I was being raised by my mom by herself. She was probably making 20 grand a year. You know, in order for me to have a car, I had to pay for the car. I had to pay for the gas. I had to do everything on my own. So the independent thinking had to come early, and if I wanted to do anything. A couple of years ago, man, I was stuck in a rut. I really honestly was, and I couldn't see it. Not because I was doing it wrong, it's because I didn't know any better. Rates were not good. Selling was difficult. Staffing was just unbelievably difficult to keep good staff in here. I was having a ton of turnover. And I was about ready to hang it up and sell out. I was just done. And that's about when I got introduced to the concept of the Wheel of Wealth and Thrive. Some of the specific things I've learned about running my business is systems and being organized. Before, I think I just kind of shot from the hip a lot of times. But man, since, you know, I started this whole journey, and I've developed systems for each of the employees, but not just the employees, but for the position. So the fear of wondering when I'm gone, wondering if things are being done, I don't have to worry quite as much. Business-wise, finally got over the hump and we're actually growing again, whereas before we were just declining. And now we're back up and we're back over what we were a couple of years ago now. The training's ongoing, even to from where I'm at now. I still feel like I need to get further. The training itself is just, it'll rock your world. It really will change the way you think and look at business. So all those things just kind of culminated into this big, successful business that I feel like I have now. All that stuff has just been life-altering.
Clay's awesome. You know, he's very entertaining, very energized, does some quirky, unique ways to sort of get engagement with the audience. So really pleased to have Clay do our keynote today. Well, I think it was being willing to take some risks on stage, taking some risks relative to how to set the audience up. I think that kind of created this sort of what's going to happen next. And so just that risk-taking sort of created a unique tension that I think ultimately resulted in a great experience. Well, you know, I think Clay would be an awesome presenter for a number of groups. One, I think the material that he delivers is spot on, but he also can deliver some additional products and services to the organization, even beyond just the things that he does on stage.
My name is David Drucker. I'm the president for UPS Stores Canada, also a member of the AFA board in an honorary position, so kind of a crossover with both sides. I thought it was great. I thought Clay did a wonderful job. I think anytime you're able to get a diverse group together to start finding the commonalities, you're starting to pull the threads together that are going to make something for the future. And I think that was the objective for today, and I think Clay was really able to pull that out. I thought Clay was really good at shifting speeds. He was fast when he needed to be fast, detailed when he needed to be detailed, was able to read the room every so often if we started drifting off too far to the left or too far to the right. He was right there to rudder us back on course. So, I mean, really, I don't think we could have chosen a better guy for the day to lead us.
My impression of Clay was his energy, and just like the energy that he had on stage, and how passionate he is about his message. And I really felt like I could connect with that because it was very genuine and believable and sincere. And I really appreciate the sincerity of it all. So the lesson nugget is, in fact, the action nugget. It's like you can think of things all day long, you can read books all day long, you can do whatever you're going to do as far as business planning, but if you don't implement and actually take action, then it doesn't mean anything. It is all about taking the steps and standing up and going forward and engaging in an action activity. Well, what was so different about this is the sense of humor. They're a really great sense of humor, very lively, very engaging and interesting. And a lot of presentations, you just kind of sit there and go, oh no. But this was fun. This was fun and interesting and engaging.
Oh, I love Clay. Very funny. You
never know, right? With a keynote speaker, you don't know, so you got to kind of open up. He's got a good sense of humor. I like the video at the beginning. It started out perfect. I'm like, oh, great, another speaker that's been to a million corporations. I liked it. I like it was really well done. Like the guy's good.
Clay's fantastic. I mean, the guy is hilarious, captivating, kept the room moving. I mean, I love the fact that he got everybody up and moving. The fact that you could get John Tanney up dancing in his seat like that is worth the price of admission right there. Awesome. It just reinvigorates you. You hear somebody talk about how, you put in systems into your business, how you got to seize the day. I mean, all that stuff is stuff deep down you should be doing, but those reminders help, and it's the right time if you're open to it. I mean, that's what it's all about. Because I'm a product of the 90s, I liked his, Notorious B.I.G. rap a little bit, but I get it, man. He's exactly right. I got a ton of buddies that are sitting around playing PlayStation every day, and they're not studying success, and I think that's the thing. Because to me, the one thing I really take away from that conversation is poverty is our baseline. Everybody knows poverty. You don't need to teach poverty. You need to teach success. And the fact that he said that was like music playing. I think he just is, just really gets our industry. You get a lot of realtors that try and be motivational speakers, but he truly is a motivational speaker. He's a businessman. He's obviously been around the block and, done a lot of things. And I think all of those applications, because real estate at the end of the day is the business of business.
I love Clay. I've known Clay just socially, but I've never heard him speak before. And I was probably most taken by the fact that he was just common in so many ways and made fun of himself, but also brought that aspect of these are my lessons, and these are lessons from some very influential people who all recognize. So probably what I took away from it the most was the Net Promoter Score and the fact that your wow factor from what you provide to your clients really creates that score. And you really have to go the extra mile to bring people to that level of impression. I appreciated Clay's story about his father and the picture with the kids, with the girls. I thought that was very meaningful. And takes the whole thing, the rest of his message and stories and things that he's sharing, and really puts them in perspective for people who are listening. You could tell he enjoys what he does and believes in what he's presenting, and that's a connection with an audience that is more important than the name or even what's being presented. It's real, it's transparent, and it's genuine.
My name is Josh Wilson. I'm the owner of Living Water Irrigation. So I've been working with Thrive since December of 2017. So the biggest changes we've seen as a company is, first of all, just systematically how we do things, how we present things. Our Google presence is phenomenal. Our website's 1,000,000 times better. And just the overall accountability and the process by which we're conducting ourselves. So our biggest win since working with Thrive is we literally, March was a record month for us. It was almost twice as much as our biggest month prior to that. In the last week or so, we've closed about $250,000 worth of business. We still have to go dig a bunch of dishes and get it done, but we signed about $250,000 worth of business with the relationships we built, the things that they've implemented through Victoria and Clay and everybody here at Thrive. So I would recommend Thrive to other business owners simply because they can point out where you're flawed and what you need to work on. You just have to be real and honest with yourself on what you need to improve upon. So that would be first and foremost. And the huge reason why I would do it, because it works. It actually, everything that they said when we came in for our initial meeting to today, absolutely positively has been accomplished.
Just how does an irrigation and sprinkler repair company increase in sales by over 450% in just 1 year? When according to Forbes, 9 out of 10 startups fail and 8 out of 10 existing businesses fail. How can one company grow by 450% in 1 year? Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, it is now time for yet another edition of
Wins of the Week!
Doing the bull dance, feeling the flow, working.
You can do it! We are joined by none other than my brother from another mother, Mr. Josh, the founder of Living Water Irrigation. Mr. Josh, welcome onto the show, my friend. How are you?
I am awesome, Clay. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm excited for the listeners to get to know more about you. Could you share the name of your company, a little bit more about what you guys do at Living Water Irrigation, where the name comes from?
Absolutely, positively. So living water irrigation, the most important part of that to me is John 7:38. So it's mentioned in the gospel a number of times where the living water, but our specific scripture that we drew our name from is John 7:38. It says, whoever believes in me, rivers of living water will flow through him. We have a very distinct vision as a company on who we are and what we want to do. And I believe that I was put here to go make some money to give it away.
And I'm not going to ask you for the specific details of your career and how you started the business as far as a linear timeline, but how long has this particular business been around?
We've been around just 2 years, sir.
2 years. And you guys, we first met. How did we first meet?
I came in and y'all started coaching me over the Thrive 15.
And do you remember when that was approximately and how you first heard about us?
So it would have been October or November of 17.
October or November of 17.
Yes, sir.
And in terms of your growth as a company, how much have you grown this year?
So this year we're up 450% year over year.
So now that you're implementing this program, you're getting more calls, right? Are you getting more calls?
Absolutely.
Sales are going up. You're gathering reviews from your real customers, adding content to the website, adding a gallery of work.
So I'm going to actually take a minute and make you really uncomfortable, Clay.
Nice.
So when we started with y'all, it was awesome. We had a little company, just me and one dude and one little van.
Yeah.
And 17 was great. I ate more than ramen noodles, but not much more.
Right.
18 was really good. We started to implement the systems, got Start Here, got the boom book, went to a couple conferences, and said, okay, I'm going to buy in. I'm going to sell out. We went to the coaching, got coached by Marshall and Victoria, and started to implement, as opposed to just listen, to actually be doers. It's in James. It says don't just be hearers of the word, but be doers as well. And so we implemented scripts. We implemented systems. We implemented checklist. We implemented a pro forma for quoting and all these things that you talk about.
Yeah.
And so just as a real person, and I'm real, I promise you, there's a bunch of Josh Wilsons out there.
Yeah.
Like I'm a famous baseball player and football player.
Oh, wow.
And a gospel singer.
Oh, wow.
But this Josh Wilson just digs ditches for a living. But I just want to say thank you. Standing here for all the systems. I encourage everybody out there, go pick up Start Here. Go pick up the boom book. The stuff you hear on this show, it actually sincerely works. It's not just some nonsensical guy sitting in an awesome man cave who's bored so he wants to record a show. And then from there, here's another super duper move for you. Schedule your day.
Oh, wait a second. That right there is a hot tip.
Holy cow!
Schedule your day?
So I was listening just a few months ago, and I was running all over the Tulsa metro area, from Glenpool to Owasso to Broken Arrow, back to Owasso, to Jinx,
No.
to Midtown. And I'm like, man, why am I getting nothing done?
Why am I getting nothing done?
Well, your issue is that you're running these places. You got to drive.
Why am I talking using a megaphone? Back to you.
Well, obviously, I wouldn't have this belly if I was running, Jonathan.
Okay.
So my wife says to me, hey, how was your day, honey? Oh, I worked all day. I did all these things. And I'm like, wait, I have nothing to show that I did anything. So super move number one, you've said it 17,000 times.
Yeah.
Whatever gets scheduled gets done. So now my day is scheduled.
Come on now.
So if it's not on my schedule, nope, doesn't happen.
Listen here. Here's a little secret. You can become successful. You have the tools needed to start and grow a successful company. But you've got to implement the best practice systems. You have to implement the proven systems, checklists, and processes that have been shown to work time and time again. And it is very hard for me to help you implement those systems if we don't get a chance to know you. So if you're out there today and you're saying, I feel stuck, I don't know what to do, I would encourage you to go to thrivetimeshow.com today and watch over 1,000. We have over 1,000 video testimonials from real people just like Josh. Watch those videos and build your faith. Believe that you can actually do this. And then do one of three things. One, you could schedule a one-on-one consultation with me by simply going to thrivetimeshow.com and scheduling that free 13-point assessment. Now, our team is going to vet you, make sure you're not psychologically impaired or your dream is not delusional. Now, move number two. You could book your attendance at our in-person Thrive Time Show workshop. The tickets are normally $250, but if you want to attend the workshops because maybe you're in a spot right now where financially you're kind of strapped, just subscribe to the Thrive Time Show podcast and leave us an objective review. And after you leave us an objective review, take a screenshot of the review and email it to info@thrivetimeshow.com, and we'll give you tickets for just $37. Or maybe the Thrive Time Show Business School is the right move for you. Maybe it is. Listen, it's only $19 a month. And when you subscribe to the Thrive Time Show Business School, here's what you get. You get access to a massive amount of videos. We have over 3,000 training videos taught by the world's business leaders. You can watch those videos. That alone has tremendous value. Also, you get to attend one in-person workshop per year. Now, if you think about it, if you go to, Harvard, the average graduate debt sits at around $101,000. If you go to Oral Roberts University, let's say you go to Tulsa University, you're going to spend $35,855 per year. If you go to the Harvard Business School, you're going to spend $66,000 per year. If you go to the Wharton Business School, you're going to spend $64,828 per year. If you subscribe to the Thrive Time Show Business School, it's month to month, and it's as little as $19 a month. Check it out today by going to thrivetimeshow.com. And now, without any further ado, we like to end each and every show in Win of the Week with a boom, because boom stands for big, overwhelming, optimistic momentum. And now, without any further ado, here we go. 3, 2, 1, boom! The Thrive Time Show 2-day interactive business workshops are the highest and most reviewed business workshops on the planet.
You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zoellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you raise capital? How do you get a small business loan? We teach you everything you need to know here during a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. It's all here for you. You work every day in your business, but for 2 days you can escape and work on your business and build these proven systems so now you can have a successful company that will produce both the time freedom and the financial freedom that you deserve. You're going to leave energized, motivated, but you're also going to leave empowered. The reason why I've built these workshops is because as an entrepreneur, I always wish that I had this. And because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop. And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, and I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zoellner and Associates. Look them up and say, are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you.